Hello from slidenerd and hello from Weaves. What's up folks? In this video, I'm going to talk about how to build a linear layout using Java code. Now remember, the default recommended approach to build layouts is always XML because Android decides what is the best resource for you when your app runs if your layout is defined in XML. If you want to go ahead and make this in Java, well, you're welcome. There is no opposition against it, but use this only in a situation where things are dynamic. Perhaps the user clicks a button and you want to show something to him. In that case, you can go ahead and make a linear layout or your object in Java code. Alright, so let's actually see what are the different steps in making this. I'm gonna make this which says hello world and there's a button below it inside purely Java. Now if you see the XML structure, I've actually given this XML structure over here so that you guys can refer to this, and based on this structure we are gonna build the Java code so that you guys understand exactly what is happening. If you guys see, there are several issues to think. First of all, each view requires a layout width and layout height, so we need to give that in Java also. Then you have these objects: linear layout, text view, button, right? There's Android text, and there will be other attributes like text size, text color, and so on, right? Again, you have the orientation as vertical, and bam, that's all we need to know. So let's actually find out what are the different steps involved in converting this XML based user interface structure into a Java based description. Alright, okay, so we can build a linear layout in Java in 3 steps. The first step is to create the Java objects for all views and view groups. Now if you guys remember, view groups are nothing but your layouts, and views are nothing but things like text view, button, edit text, and so on, right? So we want to create Java objects of each of these. So for the first step, I'm going to say linear layout LL is new linear layout. For the text view, again, I'm going to say the same thing. For the button, again, I'm going to say the same thing. Now if you guys notice this parameters over here, it says context object. Now if you're a beginner, this is the biggest source of confusion. You wonder what the context object is. Well, don't worry too much about it. A context object is nothing but a way to access the system resources and platform services inside your Android. Now for every view and view group you create, you pass this context object and you're done with it. Alright, this is the first step. Now at this point, what we have is we simply have those objects created. Now still, Java doesn't know how big they are, how wide they are, how tall they are, what is their text, what is their color, and everything. So we need to define each of these properties. So in the second step, what we do is, you see this match parent, wrap content. We want to define these dimensions for all our view and view group objects in the second step. For example, we had a linear layout, we had a text view, we had a button. We want to define the dimensions for all 3 of them in Java. Alright, so here we set the dimensions for all the view and view group objects. Now this dimensions can be set using an object of type Layout.Params. Now this Layout.Params is an inner class inside your linear layout. So in short, you'll have to always use the linear layout.LayoutParams name as the way to access the object. So first we create an object of linear layout.LayoutParams. Now this represents our dimensions. It's very simple. It's simply like saying point P equals a new point int x comma int y. That's simplest comparison possible with what we are doing right now. So here I'm going to say linear layout.LayoutParams. Our dimensions is new linear layout.LayoutParams, 2 parameters, width and height. Now width, as you guys can see, it's match parent for the linear layout, match parent at the height, right? So this match parent is actually stored in Java as a static integer inside your LayoutParams class, right? So you can say LayoutParams.match parent, LayoutParams.match parent. This will be the width and this will be the height. Simple. At this point, we have defined an object that contains the dimensions, but remember, we have still not said that the linear layout should use these dimensions, right? So for saying that, we are going to set LL, that is the linear layout object which we created in the last step, dot set LayoutParams, and here we are going to pass the dimensions. Now this step literally is like saying that, hey linear layout, you should use this object dimensions which contains a width of match parent and a height of match parent, and at this point you're defined the dimensions. Now remember, I have only defined the dimensions for the linear layout. You also need to define it for the text view and the button. So you probably can make another object, dimensions 2, maybe dimensions 3, or you can simply use the same dimensions 2 by wrap content in both of them, right? And we can simply set them by saying the text view t dot set layout.params and so on. So next, in the third step, we are going to set additional properties like your color, your size, your text, your gravity, and so on. So here if you see, we have Android orientation is vertical for our linear layout. If you see, Android text is hello world for our text view, Android text is button for our button. Now these properties can be set using simple methods inside your Java code. For example, for the linear layout object, you can say ll.set orientation linear layout.vertical. Again, this vertical is a static integer inside your linear layout class, and you can use that to say that your linear layout should be vertical in nature. Same way you can say t.set text can hello world b.setText button and so on, and we are done at this point. All right, after this there's only one thing we need to do. We simply set the content view to your root layout. Now if you guys remember, the root layout is a linear layout in our case, and we already have an object of our linear layout, right, and that is LL. So at the point we are going to go simply say set content view. Inside the bracket we're going to say LL, and that will be done. Now remember, if things look a little blurred to you at this point, we are actually going to go into Eclipse and do this in the next video, so stay tuned. If you like what you saw, please subscribe to my channel, comment, let me know your thoughts. I would love to hear from you guys. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Have a nice day.